Hi guys, and welcome back to a new hands-on video by Mirror Lessons. Today I'm going to show you two new Olympus lenses for the micro four thirds system, which are the 7-14mm 2.8 and the Fisheye 8mm 1.8. Now, I already showed you those two lenses last month when we had the chance to see two pre-production models in Prague at an Olympus event. That video had a very bad audio quality, and so now that we had the final versions of the two lenses, I thought that it was nice to do a new video, and I could also show you some image and video samples. So let's see the first one. This is the 7-14mm. It has a constant aperture of 2.8. It shares lots of the same characteristic as the other Pro lenses that Olympus already released, the 12-40mm 2.8 and the 40-150mm. So you have a function button on the side here, the LFN button. The focus ring can be clutched so that you can instantly switch from auto to manual focus. And overall, the size of the lens is pretty similar to the 12-40 that I'm here. There is some differences. The 7-14mm is heavier. I think it's around 200 grams more heavier than the 12-40mm. And of course, the hood is fixed, is not removable. The zoom mechanism stays inside. I mean, the lens doesn't protrude when you zoom in. You can see that the front lens actually comes forward when you go zoom into 7mm. And so the lens is a little bit heavier, as I said. The grip still remains very good on the M1. I actually show you how it looks on the EM1. So we have the EM1 here with the 7-14mm. So the grip is really good. On the M5 or M5 Mark II, I have to say that it unbalanced the grip a little bit unless you use the optional lens grip because, I mean, as I said, the lens is heavier than the other wide-angle zoom lenses, but overall it still remain compact and small to carry around. Of course, the build quality is the same, which is really great. I think that's probably the things I like the most about those lenses. The build quality is really good. Metal finish, of course. They are weather resistant. I mean, they really feel solid. I think they are among the most beautiful and well designed lenses in the mirrorless system. Here is the lens cap for the 7-14mm. It attaches on the outside on the hood. One thing about this lens is that it doesn't have a filter thread for circular filters, so you have to wait for third-party manufacturers to actually design a filter holster capable of working with this lens. Right now, my first impressions about this lens are really positive. I mean, it is sharp, really sharp, even already at 2.8. Distortion is quite well contained, of course, considering that it's a very extreme wide-angle lenses, goes to 7-14mm, which is equivalent of 14-28mm on full-frame format. So, of course, depending of your shooting architecture and where you are positioned, where are the elements of your scene, of course, you will get more or less distortion. But I have to say that overall, it's very well contained. The quality this lens delivers is very similar to the 12-40mm, which is already a very nice lens. So I think that Olympus is building a very nice series of professional lenses. Another interesting characteristic is a very short minimum focus distance. It's 7.5 centimeter throughout the whole zoom range. So from 7-14mm, you can really focus close to elements. And at 2.8, you can get some interesting bokeh and autofocus areas. It's not perfect, it's not great, because of course this is a very wide angle lens, but still it adds an extra characteristic that can be interesting for certain compositions. Of course, you can use it for video as well. The only thing I notice really with this lens, it's flares. There are some lens flares. That of course depends on if you have direct light in your frame, but also even when there isn't direct light in your frame, like the sun or artificial lights in the street, sometimes some light coming from the side can still create a lens flare, especially when you are at 7mm, because as you can see, the lens is more close to the edge of the hood, so it's more exposed to outside light. Of course, you can also have flares if you have some source of lights at the edges of your composition, like on top right or top left. But I mean, there's nothing really suspicious about that. It's just something you have, of course, to be aware of. So now let's talk about this little guy here. This is the 8mm fisheye lens, 1.8. Actually, it is the world's first fisheye lens with a fast aperture of 1.8, and as you can see, it's still quite compact and small, which is really nice. And I can show you actually how it looks on the EM1. The M5 is actually shooting this video right now, so I can show you with that, but here it is. So very compact, shares the same build quality as the 7-14 and the 12-40mm, so it's an all-metal build again. Weatherproof, dust splash proof, and of course you only have the focus ring here. It can be clutch like the 7-14mm, so it's fixed. Of course, here as well there are any filter threads, as the lens protrudes a lot, which is common for every fisheye lens. And now about the performance, I have to be honest with you, I'm not a huge expert when it comes to fisheye lenses. Actually, personally, I never liked fisheye lenses that much. I believe it's also the fact that I never forced myself to use them a lot. I actually find fisheye lenses difficult to use because you really need to find the right scenery, the right elements in the foreground and in the background to really create an interesting composition, unless you're just looking for a easier fisheye effect, which is nice as well, but can also become boring if you abuse about the effect too much. But I must say that this lens, again, like the other professional lenses by Olympus, is delivering a very interesting result. Very good sharpness. Of course, in this case, distortion is its main characteristic. Another nice and interesting aspect is that it's focusing really close. It's 2.5 centimeters. So at 1.8, you can, even with this lens, achieve some interesting out of focus rendering and some bokeh effect if you manage to really focus close to your element, like some flowers or whatever it comes to your mind, which is again another characteristic, and I think it's certainly can help you be more creative and create some interesting compositions. It's actually also interesting for a very low angle shot, maybe for some sports or from some events when you want to really get close to the action. So I mean, you can really find a lot of different use with this kind of lens. Of course, it can be nice to use for video work as well, as you can see from the images right now. Some samples I shot with the M5 Mark II. Olympus also designed a waterproof dome lens port for this lens that can be used in conjunction with the waterproof body housing that Olympus already designed for the OMD M5, the OMD M1. So basically you can use this lens underwater with the body housing and this special lens port. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, this time with a better audio than last time. If you have any question about these two lenses, of course, don't hesitate to ask. We still have them for a few weeks and we're not gonna test in depth all the characteristics, and so hopefully we can answer a few questions. And make sure to check mirrorlesson.com. There are right now live 2 posts with lots of image samples taken with both lenses, and of course stay tuned for our full review of these 2 lenses. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.